Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. A lot to talk about this morning, especially the weather. So let's get right to meteorologist Scott Gagliardi. Gosh.
How was your ride in?
Awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely
Ours
terrible.
too.
Coming in from Guilford, I mean, it was pouring all the way up past the Durham Fair, through Middletown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so hard to see sometimes.
It is.
Especially when you're on the highway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's not even the rainfall rates. It's more that spray on the roadways. First alert weather day. No surprise here. We've been talking about it for days. Rain expected 1 to 2 inches. Wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. All hazards on the table today in terms of what you can expect on area roadways. Now, right now, across the state, I mean, it's pouring out there. We're looking at heavy rain through parts of Litchfield and Hartford County, Avon, through Simsbury, New Hartford, Barkhamsted, even out farther towards the east, to the east side of the Connecticut River there, looking at some pouring rain as well through Vernon, Ellington, Bolton getting into it, Andover, down through Hebron. But even along the shoreline, there is a very heavy band of rain about to make its way onshore. And if you don't think it's pouring just yet, well, just give it about 10 minutes or so for parts of, say, I-95. And yeah, that heavy rain continues throughout the day today. Here's a live look in New London where it's 46 raw degrees. Winds there out of the northeast at 14. New Haven doesn't look too good out there, 48. And the temperatures don't budge at all today. We're looking at a big area of low pressure forming just to the south of Connecticut, and it will bring in some heavy rain throughout the entire day today. Those winds will pick up as well. We'll be detailing, though, exactly what you can expect throughout the rest of the day today into tomorrow, and of course, the all-important Memorial Day weekend. All those details ahead in less than 10. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning, Scott. Nice to see you. Good morning, everyone. 7:02 here on your Thursday. It's a wet start. It's a windy start. You got to make sure that you're giving yourself extra time. And I'm also following this breaking first alert here. This is in New Haven. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a crash 91 southbound between exits 8 and 7 with the right lane there blocked off. We've got some delays that are rolling through the area. Remember to slow it down, move over. It's the law here in the state. You can see all those taillights. Visibility a little bit reduced here as well. A lot of spray coming up from vehicles. You can see some delays here coming out of the Mixmaster. That's 84 eastbound in Waterbury heading towards Hartford. Those roads are definitely compromised. Some reduced visibility here in Hartford on 91. Live look outside in Middletown along Route 9 and those wet roads. Look at all that sheen there in Meriden along 691. Your drive times as you're heading out the door not looking atypical. Almost a 115-minute ride here 95 southbound towards the George Washington Bridge. Just expect those kinds of slowdowns across the entire state due to the weather. That's a quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, let's get to breaking news out of Washington this morning. Just moments ago, the House of Representatives finished its vote on the GOP's budget bill. That's been dubbed by the president as his big, beautiful bill. And we now know that bill has passed and goes to the Senate.
Yeah, this comes after the president made a personal appeal yesterday to some of the GOP caucus who were not as supportive of that bill, saying it didn't cut spending enough.
And more breaking news overnight. 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy in Washington were shot and killed while leaving an event at a Jewish museum. The victims have been identified as Yaron Lishchinsky, a research assistant, and Sarah Milgram, who organized missions to Israel. Officials say the couple was set to be engaged. Police say the suspect shouted "Free Palestine" as he was being arrested. Both President Trump and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the attack, saying it was driven by anti-Semitism.
And this is just into our newsroom here, some local reaction to that breaking news, in part saying all of us at Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford are horrified at the reported murder of 2 people outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. The group says they are working with the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington and security partners to monitor the situation, and that the safety and security is a top priority for the community. All right, let's get back to that first alert weather day that we've been following for you this morning. The wind and the rain. Some towns along the shoreline are preparing for possible flooding.
Your reporter Roger Susanen is checking out conditions in that part of the state right now. So, Roger, you're in Weather Tracker 2. What are you seeing?
Yeah, ladies, the good news is we just passed high tide at 7 a.m. and we did not see or hear about any coastal flooding. That's the good news. The bad news is that the road conditions, as Scott and Caitlin have both been telling you here along the shoreline, are pretty lousy right now. We've seen a little bit of limited ponding even on some of these roads. This is Route 1, also known as Boston Post Road here in Madison. I have been chatting with a couple of different local police departments. They tell me they have not had to deal with any coastal flooding. That is the good news. However, we can tell you that this coastal flood advisory remains in effect until tonight, and that could be an issue at 7 p.m. That's the next high tide cycle, and that is when folks along the shoreline could see some flooding. It's really not because of the rain, or not primarily because of the rain. It's actually because of the wind. Scott Haney let me know that at 2:30 this morning that was going to be the bigger issue this morning. Now, in terms of if you're driving along the shoreline, or really most of the state, the one thing you're going to have to do, add in a little extra time into your morning commute, because you may have to go a little more slowly than normal. That's what you should do. And also, of course, take it slow. You'll get where you need to go, but it may take you just a little bit longer than it normally does. It is a nasty day. It is a windy day, and it is a pretty chilly day. And we'll, of course, keep tracking conditions here on the road and along the coast throughout the morning. Reporting live in Weather Tracker 2 in Madison, I'm your reporter, Roger Suzanne, Channel 3 Eyewitness News. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Roger, thank you. 7:06 now. And right now in Hartford, police are searching for the driver of a car that crashed into a parked box truck, killing the passenger in the car. The victim is 25-year-old Felix Vasquez. The crash happened on Main Street about 9:30 last night. Police say the driver ran away before officers arrived. They have not said if they will face any charges.
This morning, the family of a 16-year-old who was killed in a shooting in New Haven is speaking out now that a suspect is in custody. Malik Sweet's loved ones tell us he had big dreams. The family says they're devastated by his loss, and police are now crediting cameras and license plate readers for helping them find the suspect, who now faces a murder charge.
Today, the man who admitted to killing his ex-girlfriend with an axe in Milford in 2022 will be sentenced. The victim's 17-year-old son called police to report that his mother was being assaulted. A 3-year-old child was home at the time as well. Both children were not harmed.
This morning, we're working to find out if a student will face any disciplinary action after spraying pepper spray on a school bus in Meriden. Police say multiple students were exposed to it. None were seriously hurt. The students were all put on a new bus.
Well, this morning, leaders at Pratt & Whitney have agreed to head back to the bargaining table to meet with union representatives. They're trying to end a weeks-long workers' strike.
Your reporter, Marcy Jones, has more on what this means for machinists who work for one of the state's largest employers.
Good morning. Since we last checked in with you, many more cars on the road. That means lots more honks, lots more cheering out here, and a few more workers on the picket lines. However, we do know that last week Pratt & Whitney said, hey, we're done negotiating. Our last offer was fair. However, just a couple of days after all of these striking workers lost their health insurance, it seems that both sides are ready to come back to the table. Approximately 3,000 Pratt & Whitney striking workers and their families have been impacted by the loss of health insurance. The group, unwavering on the picket lines, have braved the elements like strong winds and rain since their agreement expired on May 4th. One of the main reasons the workers say they've remained on strike is job security, because what good is fighting for more pay if you no longer have a job? The two sides are expected to meet at 10 this morning, so in just a little while, make sure you keep it right here on Channel 3. We're going to have all of the latest updates for you. Your reporter in East Hartford, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, this morning, the city of Hartford has a budget for the next fiscal year. The city council adopted the mayor's $626 million spending plan last night. It includes additional funding for the school district, allowing it to restore the dental clinic, plus career training programs and more.
This morning, a construction company is being asked to improve communication with the public ahead of its next quarry blast. It comes after parts of Plainville and New Britain were shook on Tuesday afternoon. The U.S. Geological Survey initially said there was a small earthquake, but Tilcon confirmed that it was performing blasting in that area. The company says they followed all regulations.
All right, today, be prepared for more cars on the highway as you head out. Traffic is expected to pick up even in all this rain ahead of the long Memorial Day weekend. AAA says that close to 40 million people will be driving to their destinations this holiday, so consider leaving early to avoid traffic. And here's another tip. Experts say the worst time to be out on the roads is between noon and 6 at night.
Also today, officials are asking parents to remind their teenagers to be safe behind the wheel.
They say teen drivers get into far more deadly accidents during the summer, and the increase starts right after Memorial Day. A ban on alcohol is now in effect in 9 state-run parks and recreation areas. State leaders say they're trying to prevent rowdy behavior and improve safety at their parks. The ban runs through August 18th. We'll have a full list of the parks up on our mobile app.
And as we get another check of your First Alert forecast on this First Alert weather day, it is certainly going to be a pretty ugly day. If you don't have to really head out, you're not going to want to head outdoors, not only because of all the rain, but temperatures ridiculously cool today. Right now, a live look outside in Old Saybrook. You can see the flag there blowing around in a breeze out of the east-northeast, anywhere from 10 to, in some cases, near 20 miles per hour. There is a coastal flood advisory. We did just pass that high tide at 7 a.m. So now that wind starts to shift a bit more out of the north and east, we shouldn't see that much in the way of any coastal flood issues. But temperatures today, the bigger deal, 40s for everybody. The wind out of the east-northeast, noticing that 10 to in some cases near 15-mile-per-hour range. And check this out. The feels-like temperature right now, the end of May, is 37 degrees in Salisbury. 39 is what it feels like in Torrington. These temperatures do not budge at all today, and it rains throughout the entire day, heavy at times. We'll detail when it all comes to an end and if we see any sunshine this upcoming weekend. That's ahead in your full First Alert forecast. Kate.
All right, Scott, thanks.